Okay, so everyone is talking about AI, but what does it really mean for the executive assistant profession? Let's just forget all the hype about robots taking over our jobs for a second. Today, we're going to dive into how AI is actually changing the game and how it can turn EAs from just being skilled task doers into, well, indispensable strategic partners. Let's get into what that really looks like.
Let's start right here with the ground truth, because this quote just hits the nail on the head, right? The goal for most EAs isn't to become some kind of coder or a data scientist. No, it's about using this technology to make your job more efficient, less stressful, and really just free up your brain power for the work that truly matters.
You know, the idea for this whole explainer started with a pretty simple quest. I was trying to create a one-page handout of useful, easy-to-use, and affordable AI tools for an EA conference. Should be a straightforward task, right? Well, that simple search ended up revealing a much more complicated and way more interesting picture.
And yeah, this is where it got super frustrating. The search for genuinely helpful AI tools just turned up a ton of noise and not a lot of signal. Most of the conversations were developers talking to other developers. The apps, they were either ridiculously expensive, way too complex, or they just didn't fit into the practical, day-to-day reality of what an administrative professional actually does. So after wading through all that jargon and all that impractical tech, the conclusion was, surprisingly, very simple. For the vast majority of tasks, most executive assistants can get absolutely incredible results with just two main tools, ChatGPT and Gemini. You really don't need a dozen different subscriptions, you just need to get really good at using the fundamentals. But that led to an even bigger aha moment, one that really cuts to the heart of this profession. And it's this. No matter how powerful AI gets, you simply cannot automate the core of the job because the core of the job is, and it always will be, about managing other human beings.
And this brings us to the kind of uncomfortable truth we really need to talk about. There's a lot of fear out there about being replaced, but the theory that's going around totally misses the real threat and, by the way, the real opportunity.
So here's the distinction that changes absolutely everything. The myth is that some piece of software is going to replace you. But the reality, it's way more nuanced. And frankly, it's human-centric. An EA who learns how to actually use AI as a tool is going to become so much more productive and so much more valuable that they will, inevitably, replace an EA who resists that change.
And why is that? Because AI is clueless when it comes to this stuff. It can't do the emotional labor of absorbing chaos. It can't intuitively protect an executive's reputation or their time. It has no idea how to read a room, know when something is off, or manage that delicate dance of human relationships. That's the human core of the job.
This is the new reality. When you take that deep, intuitive human instinct and you combine it with the speed and the power of AI, you create a professional who isn't just effective. No, you create someone who is truly formidable, powerful, and massively in demand.
All right, so let's dig into that a little deeper by looking at the specific areas where AI just falls short. And these aren't just little gaps. They're fundamental blind spots that actually show you the true pain points of the role, pain points that only a human can solve. Okay, first up, email. We've all seen it, right? Those automated replies that just feel off. AI is terrible at reading tone, sarcasm, subtext, and more importantly, it has zero understanding of the political landscape inside an organization. It doesn't know who needs to be handled with kid gloves and who can get a straight-to-the-point response.
And that cluelessness about people, it extends to maybe the most critical part of the job, managing stakeholders. It doesn't know how to deal with the sensitive people, the territorial ones, the passive-aggressive personalities that are just part of any workplace. That takes human diplomacy and empathy and strategy, not an algorithm.
You think scheduling is just about finding an open time slot? Not a chance. It's this complex negotiation of ego, power dynamics, and internal politics. An AI can see a calendar, sure, but it can't see the hierarchy. It can't understand why one meeting absolutely has to be prioritized over another for reasons that had nothing to do with time.
And looking beyond just individual interactions, AI is completely useless against systemic problems. If your company has slow approval processes, a culture of last-minute fire drills, or just indecisive leadership, AI can't fix that. In fact, it might just help you produce nonsense faster. These are deep-rooted culture problems, not technology problems.
And finally, maybe the biggest blind spot of all. AI has no idea about the intricate, specific preferences of your executive. It doesn't know that their version of urgent sometimes means this can wait, or that their no is actually a maybe.
It doesn't know their unique communication style or their personal blind spots. But you do, and that knowledge is absolutely irreplaceable.
So, if AI can't solve these core human challenges, what is it actually good for? Well, this is where the story gets really exciting. I want you to think of AI not as a replacement, but as a superpower that frees you from the most tedious, soul-draining parts of the job. Just look at this before and after. In the past, countless hours were spent on the grunt work, right? Drafting, transcribing, formatting, editing. Now, AI can spit out the raw material in seconds. Your job shifts from doing all that heavy lifting to providing that final, crucial layer of human intelligence, context, and strategy. And the key thing to get here is that AI doesn't necessarily mean you work less. It means the work you do is of a much higher value. It's a capability multiplier. It takes the 8 hours you have in a day and just expands what you can achieve in that time, letting you focus on bigger, more strategic things.
So this all leads to the most important question. What should EAs actually be learning to make the shift? How do you go from being a great EA to being an AI-supercharged strategic partner?
Here's the roadmap. Number 1, master prompting. AI needs clear, contextual instructions. 2, sharpen your writing and editing skills to refine what AI gives you. 3, embrace process thinking, because AI can only automate a clean process. If your process is a mess, the AI will just make a bigger mess faster. 4, get some basic tech literacy. Not coding, just understanding the key tools. And finally, number 5, master time management. If your priorities are wrong, AI will only help you get the wrong things done faster.
And this really boils down to one hard truth. AI is an amplifier. It's not a crutch. It cannot fix a lack of productivity or poor judgment. It won't make an underperforming EA a star. But for a great EA, it will absolutely act as a supercharger, taking their skills to a whole new level.
Think of it this way. AI supercharges all the qualities that already define an exceptional assistant. It gives you the bandwidth to be more proactive. It gives you data to inform your judgment. It handles all the tedious stuff so you can maintain your calm under pressure. It frees you up to focus on the truly human elements: presence, loyalty, and emotional intelligence.
This is the ultimate transformation. We are literally watching the profession evolve right before our eyes. We're moving away from being defined by tasks, doing things, pushing paper, keeping the gate, and toward being defined by strategic value. EAs are becoming problem solvers who generate insights and help architect a more effective organization.
So, we end on this question. This transformation, it's not optional. It's already happening. The choice for every single administrative professional isn't whether the change will come, but what role they're going to play in it. Will you be the one who embraces these tools to shape the future of your profession, or will you be the one who gets left behind? The power to decide is yours.